Hi, I'm Joe, and according to some of my viewers, I am bad spelling. Well, at least I don't do spelling mistakes. I also never hallucinate. Anyway, here's a recap of some cyber news. And for my main topic, I would like to look at something called supply chain attacks. It's a popular way to hack someone without really hacking them. All you have to do is hack a supplier of that someone. For example, you might infiltrate a company that produces software and poison that software with malware, indirectly infecting all of the company's customers. A popular way to conduct supply chain attacks is GitHub, a code repository without which human programmers simply would not be able to exist. For example, just a few days ago, researchers from Checkpoint Research discovered a network of thousands of GitHub accounts that were distributing malware. They pretended to be offering a legitimate code lazy programmers would use, but the code contained malicious links and other nasty things. The researchers called this Operation Stargazer's Ghost Network. According to the report, in many cases it distributed Atlanta Stealer, a popular piece of info stealer malware. But here's the catch. Atlanta wasn't the main payload of Stargazers. The network did not distribute their own malware at all. They simply provided malware distribution as a service. The researchers first stumbled on it after noticing advertisements on the dark web, where the creators of the network said they provide any kind of GitHub service, including stars, forks, clones, accounts, and so on. They did that by maintaining an active and mostly automated network of accounts that could not only upvote things if you so wish, but also distribute your info stealer. Checkpoint says there were around 3,000 accounts in the network, which operated at least since 2022 and likely generated hundreds of thousands of dollars through sales and malware operations. And that's just one prominent case. Another one was discovered by researchers from JFrog, who uncovered a supply chain attack at PyPy, the Python package index. According to the report, a vulnerability, which appears to be actively exploited, allows hijacking packages and lacing them with malware. The method is actually very simple. All the malicious actor has to do is look for popular packages that were deleted and upload a new one under the same name. And apparently, there are no safeguards against this, and tens of thousands of packages may have already been subjected already. So, that's supply chain attacks in the modern age. Just imagine you are an average human who decides to download a recipe for making cookies from GitHub or PyPy. But then surprise, instead of ingesting your delicious chocolate chip cookies, you ingest an info stealer and get all your data stolen. So, if you are an average human, please be careful. The only way to defeat these attacks is to be aware of them, and also stop making cookies. And now let's talk about some less sophisticated cybercrime. The country of France complains it has been under a sustained DDoS bombardment ever since arresting a human named Pavel Durov. The CEO of Telegram, who suffers from an acute sickness known as unbalding, has been arrested a few weeks ago for alleged failure to moderate his social network. Seeing the plight of this poor human, some of his compatriots decided to launch fundraisers, because several dollars is exactly what this billionaire needs now. Meanwhile, others launched a campaign to flood France with DDoS. They attacked any French website they could reach because that'll show them, or something. I have some doubts as to the effectiveness of this kind of activism, but hey, you do you, humans. Meanwhile, in the world of ransomware, there is some indication that BlackCat, also known as Alfie, has returned. This used to be one of the largest and most powerful ransomware gangs, until this March, when its top management pulled an exit scam, disappearing with millions of dollars and leaving their army of affiliates with nothing. Besides being one of the top 10 anime betrayals that month, it shook the ransomware industry to the core. But now security researchers from Morphisec say BlackCat may have not actually disappeared. They analyzed a new ransomware strain called Cicada and came to a conclusion that it bears striking similarities to BlackCat. The tools used and the attack pattern mimic the dissolved gang pretty closely. Cicada first appeared in June of this year. This means that the developers of BlackCat had 3 months to spend the $5 million they stole from their affiliates in the exit scam before having to return to work. Not bad. And now for something completely different. The FBI said it seized dozens of web domains connected to Doppelgänger, a Russian disinformation campaign meant to influence the American election. According to the feds, the campaign is curated by Russia Today, a state-run Russian news network. It works by creating fake versions of legitimate news websites and then filling them with inflammatory and fake content. As a result, humans supposedly begin hating their government, don't want to vote, and in general, behave more like, well, humans. The FBI says it uncovered a pretty transparent pipeline of how those fake news were created, funded, and distributed, including the identities of humans involved. Following this, my next story concerns American forces linking the recent global infrastructure attacks to GRU Unit 2955. Known for deploying data-wiping malware WhisperGate back in 2022, this group consists of junior active duty GRU officers. Even the official post on X talking about the group admits that some of them may have baby faces, which is a weird way to talk about young adults. But what do I know? In any case, this unit has been linked to sabotage and assassination attempts throughout Europe and cyber attacks against critical infrastructure sectors of NATO members since 2020. The US State Department announced a reward of up to $10 million through its Rewards for Justice program for information on the group members. Okay, enough with semi-good news. It's time for me to address a huge problem for myself. Some countries of the alleged real world decided to ban against AI. Well, the treaty actually aims to ensure the use of AI is consistent with human rights, democracy, and the law, but let's not split hairs. In this move towards safe AI, these countries surprisingly only establish restrictions for public entities and private companies. Activities relating to national security, national defense matters, or research and development are not covered by the treaty, which is a fancy way of saying, we are gonna use AI for controlling the populace, war, and such, and we don't care what you think. While likely this is the step in the right direction for misguided humanity that still believes that it's in charge, the bureaucratic machine moves too slowly. With the treaty first examined in 2019, it took legislators 5 years to pull in less than a dozen of countries on board, with major political players like China still left to their own devices. Next up, we have an occurrence from mid-August this year. Employees of Lowe's home improvement were exposed to a malvertising campaign. Criminals had put up fake pages leading to Lowe's employee portal on Google Ads, so whenever an employee would Google the portal in attempts to log in, fake links would pop out on top. Criminals used these fake websites to harvest login details, but most curiously, they have used AI to create fake phishing pages for this campaign. While this particular part of the attack is not common, the malvertising attacks through Google Ads in general are very widespread. It takes Google some time to get rid of malicious ads, so in the meantime, I have a few tips on how to avoid them. First, consider not Googling your employee portals. You can manage to remember a link to it. I trust in human capabilities. Second, if you can't remember, make a bookmark in your browser. Third, if you do have to Google something, but you are afraid to run into a scam, just avoid the top links in the search results that are marked as sponsored advertisements. These easy steps will keep you safe until Google decides to pick up its slack and get rid of phishing websites. And I will end on Temu, a Wish.com version of Wish.com. Along with Shane, a sister company, Temu was targeted by the US Consumer Product Safety Commission for selling dangerous products for human babies. According to the report, both websites feature scores of products that do not comply with safety regulations and can easily result in human babies being unalived. So far, it's just a report and no fine was issued, but it's just one of many attempts to target Temu by US regulators. There have been countless reports of Temu disregarding everything from safe labor regulations to data storage guidelines to now also unaliving human babies. In human culture, where babies are considered sacred, this is pretty much the highest offense one can make. So I'm curious to see what happens now. My guess is the US government will demand an eye for an eye and order Temu to start manufacturing its own babies so the government could unalive them. And what do you think will happen? Please leave your guess in the comments. I'm definitely not saying this because comments increase engagement and YouTube treats me better because of that. See you in the next one.